Colorado will take a case to the U.S. Supreme Court that could have widespread effects on states across the country. The question at hand is whether electors should be required to vote for the candidate that earns the most votes in that state. It stems back to 2016 when 3 of Colorado's 9 electors wanted to vote for John Kasich instead of Hillary Clinton. They thought it would stop Donald Trump from winning the 270 needed electoral votes. When one of them wanted to cast his vote, he was replaced by an elector who would vote for Hillary Clinton. But in August, an appeals court ruled that it was unconstitutional and said Colorado's electors did not have to vote for the candidate who won the state's popular vote. Now the state is asking the U.S. Supreme Court to step in. Here's a look at what's at stake.
The foundation of our nation is at risk.
It's a question that cuts to the core of American democracy and how presidents are elected.
If the Electoral College system is unhinged from the Colorado state law and others like it, people then will not know who they're voting for.
After a legal loss in the 10th Circuit Court, Colorado Secretary of State Jenna Griswold and Attorney General Phil Weiser are now putting their faith in the U.S. Supreme Court to stop so-called faithless electors.
Unelected, unaccountable presidential electors should not be allowed to decide the presidential election for all of us.
Here's briefly how the Electoral College works. You cast a ballot for the president. The votes are counted, and then electors cast the final vote for whichever candidate has the most. But so-called faithless electors are people who don't follow the will of the voters and choose another candidate instead. There's nothing in the Constitution or in federal law stopping this, but there are state laws.
So what's really at stake is, can a state enforce state law?
So Wednesday, the state filed a 50-page petition to the U.S. Supreme Court to take up this case and fast.
We need the court to hear this case this term because we should not see a spectacle of emergency litigation during the course of an election.
The importance of this case,
it is urgent for the Supreme Court to take this case,
is something the lawyer representing the electors agrees with.
Michael Baca has been waiting a long time for the courts to say that he did nothing wrong.
Both sides hoping the Supreme Court will decide once and for all what the role of electors should be.
The stakes are, who do we want to be in that position in 2020? What do we want them to do? How do we want them to act? How do we want them to channel the will of the voters?
Both sides are hoping that the U.S. Supreme Court will take up this case and make a final decision before it goes to recess in July, just in time for the 2020 election. Meghan Lopez, Denver 7.